Hi, my name's Andy Rouse, known on the web as Wildman Rouse. I have quite no idea to this day why I decided to call myself that. Welcome to my new show, and this is a combination of ideas that many of you have sent to me that you've wanted me to do, so we can have kind of a load of different hints and tips and inspirations and feel-good videos in one place. Because right now, of course, coronavirus are taking it very seriously. If you look at the news, it's all doom and gloom, and I want to bring a little bit of light relief to the whole thing. And give you some inspiration, because photography is good for your mental health, and seeing great and beautiful pictures of animals, which I hope I take and I'm going to show you, is so good for your mental health. It really will make you feel good. So this is kind of an evolution. We're going to do the first one, put together some ideas, and then we're going to ask you, our subscribers, how it works. Because down below in the comment section, that's where we want you to put everything you think. You can say how bad it was, I hope not, or good it was, or just give us some ideas, or some questions for next week, and also some images, because you'll see later on how we want to use your images. So the idea of this is, it's a community show. So we don't really know how it's going to pan out over the next few weeks and months. For the time being, you've just got my ugly mug presenting to you, because we can't obviously go outside and do the shows that we want to do in the hints and tips videos and stuff. But trust me, we've got a lot of really cool stuff planned and a lot of really cool stuff to come. And to kick us off on the first show, I've got this really cool video to show you that I shot on South Georgia on the king penguin colony at Gold Harbour. It was on a wintry day. I just basically set up my small tripod with my GoPro. It's not my GoPro, this is what I use now, which is an Osmo. It's a fantastic little thing. But I set up my GoPro on a little tripod and walked away and just left it amongst the king penguin colony. And I left it on video, and they came up and approached it, and you'll see it's really, really cool. And then right at the end, the skua comes along and gets its own back on my camera. So hope you enjoy this. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I absolutely love penguins, but wow, that skua really got some revenge, turning my camera on its side. Then it started to peck it, which I didn't show you, but it started to peck it. When I came back, it was on top of it, attacking it. Luckily, the GoPro has a really, really good protective case. But it does show you how when you put these small cameras down, you know, small tripods somewhere, an animal will react to it in a different way to when you are present. This is a really good thing to do right now, because many of you are going to be on lockdown, or you're going to be isolated in your homes, but you'll still be going out into your gardens. Lots of wildlife visit our garden at all times of the day. We can't watch it, of course, so we have no idea. So what you can do is put down a little action camera or something. This is my Osmo. As I say, it's a 4K device. It's fantastic. Just leave it down on a track, or on an obvious track or something, or even on a perch. Just let it run, okay? You're not there. Nothing is going to react to it. Everything will get used to it. Maybe you have to cover it with a little bit of grass or a plant, or put it in a plant pot. I've done that before. But leave it running and see what visits your garden, because it might be interesting to use in the future, this knowledge, to try and take some pictures. Because I know you're going to be maybe on lockdown. I know maybe you're in isolation or whatever. But you've got your garden there, and you are going to go out into your garden. Photography, as I've said, is really good for your mental health. So if you can use this time as well, safely, to take a few pictures, it would be cool. All right, so that's that video. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll have another one next week. Right now, I want to move on to the next section, which kind of has had various names. The idea is that it's going to be me showing you some pictures that I've taken from my archives and also from the last 3 months. I'm going to analyse them, do a bit of critique, give you some settings. I'll keep the settings at a reasonable tech level, not too high, not too low, and I'll try and explain myself as much as I can. And the idea is not to show you pictures to show how big and good and great I am. That's not what I think about myself at all. I'm very self-depreciating. It's to show you what you can do with your cameras to maybe take something forward, how you can learn from other people, and face the challenge of taking pictures and use some hints and tips to overcome those challenges to get some great pictures. And maybe I'll change your direction. Maybe I'll make you think about light in a different way. So without further ado, here's the next bit that we're kind of calling Rouse's Classics. And eventually there'll be some kind of splashy graphics here. But right now it's me saying bye. All right, I was trying to come up with a name for this section. Rouse's Classics seemed like a good one, so why not? I'm going to pull a picture from the archives and look at it. And this week, grizzly bear, look at that. Let's expand it a bit. Oh my God, good shot, isn't it? I love it. It's really powerful. ISO 800, 2,000th of a second. I chose 2,000th because I wanted to stop the motion of the bear. I wanted to stop all the water droplets. You can't do everything at once. You can't do set for portraits, set for depth of field. You've just got to do one thing. So I decided, let's me set for action. I'll go for high shutter speed for the next half an hour when they're fishing. I can change it later on. That's why I did it. The bear was actually quite close, but we weren't in any danger because I was with the best bear guide in the world, Brad Josephs, who I trust completely. The bear was just fishing for salmon, that was all. At one point, of course, there's a salmon in the way of us and the bear, so that's why he's coming towards us. There's no other reason for it. Not once did this bear show us any threat or anything else, even when it came to eat the salmon right in front of us. So I love this shot. It's really nice and powerful and lots of punch, and I think it works quite well with a paw forward as well. That kind of makes it erupting through the water. All right, what have I been doing lately? Well, myself and my friend Jamie have been doing this project together, sitting 10 feet apart, on short-eared owls. Here you are, short-eared owl. Wow, look at that. Let's expand it to big one. I'm only interested in the light in the last half an hour of the day. So whilst I get there early, sit down, get a low profile, I'm only interested in it when the light actually turns really nice and red. And I'm using this kit. So it's my 300 f4 Olympus with my Mark III. And of course, on this system, this becomes a 600 f4. Yeah, it's a small one. I can easily hand hold it. It's no issue. And in this location, I need to get down in the grass and get it through a fence and photograph through the fence. And if I get down low, of course, I don't break the horizon behind me, which is really important. I'm not standing over the fence with a tripod, so the owls are likely to give us very close passes, and that's exactly what they do. So that's why we sit low, and that's the great advantage of having a small kit like this. It's just fantastic. This one that you see here, it's given me a look. It's slightly angled, which is great. I always look for the angle. I don't like the flat bird flying. I think it's boring. So it's got a nice angle. It's got these beautiful bokkie trees in the background. It would have been taken at f4 on this lens. And you can see I've probably darkened the exposure by about -1 stop just to take the highlight of the side of the face because the sun can burn it out. But just to give the picture some mood and atmosphere. And I would have shot that in shade white balance. All right, let's look at the next one. Wow, look at that. Completely different kind of picture, more atmospheric, much more bokkie. That's the field behind that was just lit by the setting sun backlight. I love shooting backlight. I don't really like shooting from the front. I like to see the backlight because it shows different parts of the landscape. Look at that. I focused right on the owl, as you can see, that lovely little snort there. I focused right on the owl, and I just did this lovely bokkie. I really love that picture, and to see it properly, you got to see it big. All right, what's the next one? Wow. Even closer, look at that. Now that's a proper backlit shot. I had someone on the internet say, oh, I don't like that because there's not enough detail on the wings. What? Don't be silly about it. It's backlit, so you can't have the same amount of detail on the wings as you would if it was front lit. I've brought a little bit out to show you a bit more of it because it's really beautiful. It's nicely angled, hunting down across this field. I was tempted in post-processing to make the field darker, but I just thought, you know what, I'm going to leave it as it is because it was such a beautiful shot. It was taken 5 minutes before the sun disappeared. Autofocus was 9 points, -2 stops compensation to really, really darken the picture off. And the autofocus Olympus system locked on fantastically. Next. Okay, slightly different position. We changed our position. You always assess things as a wildlife photographer. We watched where they hunted and we thought this week we're going to try something different. So we changed our position completely. We got in there very early before the owls were around, sat down very low, and sure enough the owls came along, but it was a very windy afternoon. Wasn't really much light around. It was pretty rubbish for that, and we didn't get that many passes, but what we did get was some really close ones, and because we were sitting low, and keeping out of the way. And this is a nice one, but just drifted over the fence. It's got the grass behind. Yes, I wish the other wing I could have seen more. Yes, I wish there was a bright blue sky behind it. But there wasn't, and that's the way it is. So anyway, taken with exactly the same combination here, and something, I love short-eared owls very much. All right, so if you enjoyed that, let me know below, and I'll put some more up next week. All right, now to questions from all of you. I've taken some questions. So let's move on to the question section. Well, welcome to the Q&A section. That's the title I've got for it. And the idea is that after each week, you're going to put some questions down below, and I'll pick 2 or 3 that I can answer with pictures or rambling, ridiculous statements that I'm going to make now. The first question came actually from Steve, who asked me the other day before one of my Instagram lives I just did, and I hope you enjoyed those. Steve, my kids really love ring-tailed lemurs. Have you ever photographed them? Well, yeah, I have. I love ring-tailed lemurs. Good old King Julian. My daughter loves King Julian very much as well. I've been to Madagascar lots and lots of times. It has its issues as a country, you all know, and it's very tough to go there in certain respects, but the wildlife is fantastic. The ringtails are just awesome as well. So here's a few pictures I'll just talk over. There you go. Nice close-up, left some space on one side so you can see that I've left some space for composition, so they're looking into frame. Lovely picture, mother and baby. Here's one relaxing in a tree. Do you like my sound effect? Couldn't it? Here's one relaxing in a tree in the morning light, and so they've been cold all night long, so they relax in the morning sunlight and show their bits to the world, which is not something we can talk about here because it's a family channel. As the morning goes on, you get them warmer and warmer. They kind of get to play a bit with the youngsters. It's really sweet in the trees. And then once it gets nice and warm, they come down to the ground. And you can see here a lovely picture of just mother and baby kind of looking slightly off to the camera. Now, these are not really my style of images. I like them, but I much prefer real atmospheric stuff. So do you want to see a couple of atmospheric ring-tailed lemurs? Okay, here we go. Wow, look at that. Now, this lemur is holding itself open to the sun, thinking, oh, it's lovely and warm, I want to warm up. When I first shot this, I was on the other side. I looked at it, didn't like it, went round to the backlit side, shot it backlit. I couldn't get any lower than that because of the lay of the land. But it was a really nice picture of a backlit lemur. -3 stops, even at -3 stops, exposure compensation, you couldn't stop the grass appearing so bright. Nothing I could do there. It's like radioactive grass. But I kind of like that. And then here's another one. I did exactly the same effect, but with 2 of them. Look at those 2 lovely tails coming up. I think it was shot with a 300-2.8. I seem to remember that I used on that trip. The great thing about ringtails is you can use anything you like, but it's the atmosphere that I like here very, very much indeed. So very, very good question there, Steve. Next question. You can tell I'm so professional here and so well prepared. I've got my running order from Adam Sharp Images. At Adam Sharp Images, give him a look. What's the strengths and weaknesses of the Micro Four Thirds Olympus system? It's going to take me a long time to answer this, okay? So I'll answer any questions on Olympus and other stuff if I can. The strengths, well, size, portability, flexibility. You know, when I did wolves last year, this is what went in my bag. It's a 600 f4, it's great. So the portability, flexibility, you know, I can just put it around my neck and just wander around with it, which right now, when we can't go far from our house, if you like, in our local patch, it's very, very useful. Superb AF. The AF locks on immediately. You don't have to set up 1,000 options. It just works, and that's kind of it. I'm just checking my notes that I made here. And it's great tech inside it. It's got this amazing thing called Pro Capture, where, you know, if you have a bird landing onto a perch, you can put it into Pro Capture mode. Just as it goes to land, you press the button, and it will record for up to a second before you press the button. So you get all the wing shapes of it coming into land. It's a really fantastic piece of technology. It's got live ND filter in there, so you can see the effect of a live ND when you slow it down. It's got focus stacking, which idiots like me that can't do macro for toffee can look like professional macro photographers. I'm desperate to use that when the spring comes, and we can certainly do that on your local patch in the garden. What are the negatives? Well, I'll be honest, battery life isn't great. All mirrorless systems have a drain on battery life. The Olympus system, definitely, if you have the M4 III, you want to have a couple of batteries with you at all times. On the 1X, it's got 2 batteries, and what I like is it drains one, and then starts on the next one, then drains that one, so that's fine. So I'd say it's battery life, and it's mainly in your head, the fact that, you know, you don't think that such a system can deliver great images. Well, absolutely it does, and I think I've proved that over the past year. It does deliver fantastic images. It takes a different kind of mindset to use a mirrorless system, but for me, it's great. Now, that's it for questions, because I didn't have any more, so please ask some more down below. In this last bit, what I want to do is give a shout out to someone that I like on Instagram, or if you write in, you show me a portfolio if I really like it. And I want to give a shout out to a guy called Tyrone, and his Instagram is @dancerseye, so have a look. He's one of the principals of the Birmingham Royal Ballet, and I went to see him the other week in Swan Lake, and he was mesmerizing. Now, Tyrone is a pretty fantastic photographer as well. Look at this. Now, check the light out in that. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, look at the light. Now, he has amazing access backstage, but he understands about light, and that's the really cool thing to look at his work. And I really love it. Here's another one. Look. Wow, look at the perspective in that. Isn't that amazing? It's just absolutely incredible. Another one. Amazing. So if you want to see more of his work, don't look for Tyrone. Look for @dancerseye, and you'll see more of his work. And next week, I'm going to feature someone else. So if you want it to be you, you know where to write. Well, finally, that's it. I hope that you've enjoyed this little rambling show. As I say, we will get better. We will do things outdoors. We will change it up probably a bit and probably find a name for it and do some link graphics and stuff like that. But I hope you've enjoyed it. Now, news just in, my official newscast a bit, news just in, WWT, Wildfire and Wetland Trust, awesome organisation, are keeping their wetland centres open, which is great. So whilst we're not on lockdown and you can actually travel around, they're keeping the centres open. So you can go in there. Obviously, there's going to be hand sanitizer everywhere, the restaurants and that. It's up to you if you go into it, but they're putting the tables further apart. Also, on the same ilk, the National Trust, also fantastic organisation, are keeping all their gardens and grounds open. So the houses, the restaurants, all the rest of that is all closed, but the admission desk is also closed, which means you can go in for free. And, you know, whilst we're not on lockdown, this is brilliant. We're able to go out, and why not go out and use these places? Because the National Trust has fantastic lakes. It has fantastic deer parks. It's absolutely brilliant, and so does WWT. So whilst we can go these places, I would encourage you to go to them. Let's see what changes there are if there's lockdowns. Now, next week, well, I'm hopefully going to feature a lot of your work. I keep pointing down below because that's where I'm going to look for it. The hints and tips section will be on reflections and how to get killer reflections, maybe a bit of processing there as well, but I'll be certainly showing a lot of really, really good images. So that's it. I hope that you've liked it. Please subscribe to this channel. Please, it helps me if you subscribe and like. Comments below. Obviously, if you want to be exceptionally negative, that's up to you. I don't surround myself with negativity, only positivity. I'm trying to produce a really good show that's good for you, that's useful for the normal average photographer out there, no matter what system you use. Anyway, that's it. It's time to begin the editing now. That's going to take me 4.5 years, but maybe not. So until next week, please like, please subscribe. See you later, and be safe. Bye-bye.